Has Bitcoin finally bottomed? Does the chart right now look to have the characteristics of a classic bottoming formation, looking to act as the accumulation zone, the launching pad before a rip to new highs? Or, my friends, on the contrary, may this just in fact be the final rally, the final bounce before a dive deep down into the crypto abyss? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. What is going on, my friends? Today I'd like to discuss Bitcoin and the action we're seeing inside the chart right now. Bitcoin is in one of the most crucial spots in the trend I've seen in quite some time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to a point where we're going to see absolute fruition here sooner rather than later, in my opinion. And what may that fruition be? Well, I believe there's two possible scenarios. One, we see a rip all the way through here, making this one gigantic bull flag pattern to tentatively look to rip us to a retest of all-time highs around 20,000. Or, my friends, this may just be the end of this parabolic move here, and we break down to look something more so like a classic market cycle bubble pop. So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up, all right? So we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice, this is not trading advice. These are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's begin right here on the one-day time frame. So we can see clearly that Bitcoin did break down out of that upward sloping structure, right? We were on a rounding bottom here, and for the first time, Bitcoin did lose that support. But right now, we still are in an interesting situation, and I don't want to say that all hope has been lost here for the bulls yet, okay? Now, I want you to pay attention here to this red line. I have the red line drawn right here. And we could see it starts all the way back in late June. It acted as the resistance point here before our bull flag and the final last leg of that parabolic move before a blow off top. So we had our resistance right there. Then upon our first massive dump and break down to the old levels there, it did act as support. Then it acted as support again to form our double bottom. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we had a very close wick here in the relative vicinity, acted as support, and now we've had 2 days in a row there of support at that range once again. So for me right now, this is the zone that Bitcoin has to hold in order for the bulls to keep any hope of momentum alive. Now, this is the interesting part. As you can see outlined by the yellow arrows here, we still are on a lower high trajectory. That is not what you want to see from a bullish perspective. Bitcoin has failed to put in a new macro high since that blow off top there at near 14,000. So although we are holding support here right now, I would consider this as a very thin support, ladies and gentlemen, very thin ice, because what winds up happening from a psychological perspective is that if the bulls cannot get enough buy pressure to create new highs, every time that you test up to a high, the previous high zone, the bulls become weak. They become a little scared, or hesitant rather, because they're under the impression that maybe there's not enough juice in the tank to create that new high. And we've seen that every single time since that blow off top, right? So right now, although we have had support here many times along this red line, the problem for me, ladies and gentlemen, is that our prior high right here is at about 10,670. And for me right now, at the time of recording here, this is only 7% away from where we're currently trading at right now. And what I want you all to understand here as well is the fact that there is a confluence coming up here with these trend lines as well, okay? So we are in one gigantic flag pennant formation right here, right now. But if we do use our recent trend lines, you could see we have this drawn right from here. This touches down. We are seeing a confluence in the $10,200 vicinity. I'd actually like to draw a few lines here because there's a lot of tentative potential zones for this to happen. If we draw from our last high and down there, we could see this confluence here is more so around 10,250, excuse me. And right now, for me, ladies and gentlemen, along with this, actually going to switch charts right here, right now, what we can see is that this whole range in here, this red box for me, and this red box goes all the way from 10,070 up to 10,500-ish. This range has a ton of historic confluence for me, ladies and gentlemen, where we could potentially look to see some rejection from the bears here, where the bulls may get a little worrisome, and we still would be on this higher low trajectory, right? Not eclipsing our prior macro high there. And what we could see is that this range does have a lot of historic confluence in it, both as resistance and support. And my friends, as we should all know by now as well, a ton of the altcoins, I'm actually just going to go over to this chart right here, a ton of the altcoins have already seen a death cross on the moving averages, the 50 and 200-day moving average. You could see the entire total market cap of just the altcoins has already death crossed here as well. And if this is going to lead to a final capitulation of the altcoins here in the near future, Bitcoin as well here, let's go back to Bitcoin now. Bitcoin may be in for a dive, just getting pulled down by the rest of the poop coin market as well. It's very possible, in my opinion. And we are right now, for what it's worth, trading under that 50 moving average there as well, 50-day moving average, which is also in a confluence there with these trend lines that I showed you here as well, right? You could see that we had our upward sloping momentum here, right? Old support may look to be new resistance there. And we have our old resistance, which may still stay as resistance. And you could see that the cross there of these trend lines is right there at around 10,280. Let's get this crypto. So for me right now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a ton of sentiment in there right now that this range could become a very dangerous spot for the bulls. Now, as you guys should all know by now, shout out to my VIPs. I've been in a short position since August 28th. I took a short at 9,873. And then what wound up happening is I took 50% of my profits at 9,510, and then I placed a stop loss for the remaining 50% of my trade in profit at 9,794, and I am out of my short trade today. My stop was obviously triggered as we're trading above this level right now. It was a very nice and profitable and prosperous trade for me there. Shout out to my VIPs. I kept you guys updated with my trade all along the way here. You guys can see these are my VIP alerts that I sent out. Just another type of clockwork trade for me here. Don Carbonaccio crushing the market like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can. So I am out of my short position now, and I am looking for new positions here inside the trend right now. And as I've stated for you all here, this is a very unique range for me, as if there is going to be resistance in here, for me, I'm probably going to be looking for plays to the downside. But if we break through, ladies and gentlemen, this could be the area that things look to get very spicy and juicy for the bulls, as maybe we do look to take out these two highs right here. And for the first time in quite some time, look to put in a new high on a macro level here. Or micro, it depends how you want to categorize this, but for me, I'm speaking macro in terms of the structure that we've been in since this blow off top at 14,000. So for me, since that blow off top, if we eclipse these two highs here, this would be the first time that we've done so, and Don Carbonaccio may be looking to take plays to the upside here if this does in fact occur. But either way, I'm ready to strike like a cobra out of the grass and get this crypto, and I will be keeping you up to date in real time with my trades in VIP. Every second that I take a trade, I post it for you. Every time that I formulate a strategy, such as this, where I post in advance that I'm setting up a trade, I'm going to post that for you in VIP as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do not get caught like a deer in the headlights here when these moves occur, because right now it looks like the trend is coiled up and ready for an absolutely explosive move here. And we are looking to be fast approaching into this range right now. So I know I'm going to be playing this range aggressively, and I'm going to keep you updated in VIP as I make my trades and plot my strategies. Let's get this crypto. I will see you in VIP right now. But let's discuss here as well the possibilities if this does break down. What may the targets be? Because I've already stated, if we break these highs right here, my friends, the obvious target for me, if those highs are broken, is to look for a potential retest of that next old high there around 12,300-ish, which is a pretty nice move to the upside if we break there. So be on the watch for that. Of course, none of this is investment advice or trading advice. It's just my own opinion and speculative hypothesis. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just stating what to look for. So for me right now, ladies and gentlemen, that would be the bullish side of things. But let's discuss what happens if this breaks down. And I really want to take a look at the potential targets to the downside here as well. Let's get this crypto. But if you are just tuning in now, don't forget to moon up the likes, moon them up. Smash those thumbs, click the subscribe button, tick the little bell. Let's get this crypto. Satoshi needs a new pair of shoes. Sheesh. So now, my friends, before I even do this, I want to really understand this here as well, just so we're on the same page. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index is showing the lowest ratings it's been in a long time, just like Bitcoin, sticking in lower highs and lower lows. Currently, we still have yet to create a new higher high on this downtrend. And right now, the readings are still very, very low, leaning to a bearish momentum bias, in my opinion. Here on the Google Trends data, past 90 days, obviously, Bitcoin saw its peak in the volume there on June 26th at a relative 100, which directly coincided with the price of the recent yearly high around 14,000. So it peaked then. And in the past 90 days, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at a new low. Bitcoin on a Google Trends data has not had this low of a reading in the past 90 days. Obviously, bearish momentum there as well. Also, past 30 days, relative 100 on August 6th. Right now, Bitcoin continues to make new lower lows. It has not been this low in the past month, okay? And if we look at the longer time frames here, 12 months, right? The past year of data, we could see right now that Bitcoin is holding on by a thread, ladies and gentlemen, as the last higher low here was a 42 back in June. Bitcoin right now is at a 43. Critical, as if a new low comes in, the bearish momentum may be overwhelming. Same thing here on the 5-year time frame. We can see that Bitcoin is on the brink of losing its higher low trajectory here, as the last low was back in June at an 11, and right now we've plunged back to an 11 as well. It is right now teetering on that line, ladies and gentlemen, like a tightrope. I stated earlier in the video, I believe that I said Bitcoin may be walking on thin ice. You could see right now, if it drops below an 11 here on the 5-year time frame, search term Bitcoin worldwide data, this would be the first time since the parabolic uptrend began back in April that Bitcoin has fallen to a new lower low, confirming more potentially bearish momentum moving forward, okay? And also here, very unique, the Bitcoin tweets chart. I'm sure all the degenerates, ladies and gentlemen, Kirby, you shouldn't be looking at the tweets chart. I look at everything, James Stunad. I look at everything to give me an advantage in this market, an advantage to crush it and get this crypto. You can keep tweeting about your poop coins, James. Keep tweeting about your poop coins, Joe. But Don Carbonaccio is here to strike like a cobra out of the grass and consume all the analysis and all the data I can to give me a competitive edge over this market. Let's get this crypto. So I just want to point out the structures here, obviously. This was our 2017 bubble. What we saw was a massive rise in the search term Bitcoin, or excuse me, the tweeted word Bitcoin. We also had our bubble pop, you could see. Now, over here in this area, right, this was where Bitcoin found its bottom around 3,000. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to zoom in on this range, okay? So I'm going to just zoom in here on this range. We could see February, March, and then April was when we broke out for the first time, okay? And this whole range here was our parabolic uptick. And you can see, where does it top out at, ladies and gentlemen? I kid you not. Ding, 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 chicken wings for dinner, tofu if you're vegan. June 26th, just like the Google Trends data, Bitcoin was tweeted about the most on the 26th of June, okay? Coinciding with our parabolic blow off top there as well. Crazy how it works. Human psychology. Everybody only gets excited when the price is moving up. Not real traders, just degenerates, right? And what we can see is that since then, we've just been on a decline. Really lower highs and lower lows. So this is also losing steam here for me, ladies and gentlemen, looking like just classic bearish momentum there as well. So if this does in fact turn out to be a zone here where we start to lose critical momentum in all of the social data here, what we could see, ladies and gentlemen, is that this may wind up playing out more so here like a full-blown market cycle. And if this were the case, this is where I want to now examine the potential downside targets here for Bitcoin. So we are right now on the last leg of hope here. For me, we still have this bottom trend line that may look to stay intact, and we could look to create maybe this potential bull flag macro pattern to the upside. 1 second here, I'm just lagging. Okay, sorry about that. And now what we can see here is that if this zone does in fact give way and purges to the downside here, going below my green box of support, this is where it gets to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where for me on a market cycle level, this could look like all just one giant complacency stage, right? Where we have our blow off top, a lot of ups and downs inside the range, but then ultimately it gives way under a critical support level, right? And for me, this critical support level is this green box from 9,500 to 9,000 flat. And if this does break, all eyes for me, ladies and gentlemen, are on that CME futures gap. The gaps have loved to fill. Do they have to fill? No. But they have historically liked to fill. Past performance is not indicative of future results, but we do have a giant gap here, from 89.64 roughly down to 8,500 roughly. And for me right now, it seems like the momentum has surely been to the downside here, along with the social data that I've shown you guys on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, the Google Trends, the tweets, etc. And just in confluence with everything else there as well, it wouldn't surprise me to see us potentially retest and fill this gap. So now let's go back to the price chart here, now that that's out of the way as well. I just want to show you some other things here. Of course, like I stated earlier, on the 1-day time frame, we are under that 50 moving average, which is in confluence with our support and resistance cluster right there in the middle of the box, around 10,250 to 10,300. And if that is lost, ladies and gentlemen, if we get rejected there, we still would be on that lower high trajectory, tentatively looking for a potential dive below this bottoming support here to be a descending triangle formation that may look something like we saw back here in 2018 for Bitcoin, before a plunge deep down into the crypto abyss, which was our ultimate capitulation point, right? Let's get this crypto. Now, this range around 8,500, we also see here, this is in conjunction here with the 0.5 Fibonacci. We see that there is a ton of old resistance, support, and resistance again here inside this range. So we could look to see this potentially act as a new support range anywhere inside here. And my friends, we must understand that generally when the masses are looking at one level, which is that gap on the futures chart, things generally tend never to get there, or they tend to overshoot it. And for me right now, I have a hard time believing that if we break down, we're not going to fill that gap, right? If we stay above here, The gap doesn't necessarily need to fill. That's why, as I've stated, I see that this range here could be very juicy for the bears, potentially. But if we break through, it could get very bullish, right? If we stay above here, ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe that we have to fill the gap. But if we break below, I have a hard time believing that we're not going to fill the gap. That is my sentiment there. But if we fill that gap, that doesn't mean, oh, Kirby, so it's over, right? We filled the gap and now we go to the moon. Well, not quite, James, because as I stated, when the masses think one thing, right, when they see one thing, this is where people start to get wrecked, because the thing is, maybe there'll be a ton of buy orders, right, at the $8,500 region, right? The degenerates, oh, I gotta go all in at 8,500 because once the gap fills, Kirby, we're going to the moon. But that is an area where I could see a lot of potential manipulation for big market players to get that liquidity there, to dump at that level, and potentially it shoots down to the downside, right? And where if we just burned through that level, ladies and gentlemen, right? Like a hot knife through butter, what do we have looming next here? And that is ding, 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 chicken wings for dinner, tofu if you're vegan, the golden Fibonacci retracement, the 0.618, looming at around 7,200. We see that this range also has a ton of old resistance in this vicinity, which, per classical technical analysis theory, old resistance does in fact love to act as new support. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, if we break down, it really wouldn't surprise me at all to potentially see this playing out more so like a potential market cycle heading down into the low 7,000s and potentially to retest on an overshoot that bottom line of support there around 6,000. And I think that would be incredibly healthy if Bitcoin were to find true baseline support anywhere within that range, as we did see a parabolic move, a blow off top, and then the bottom of the market cycle is above our entire bear market range here. I love it. I think that would be very healthy and very bullish longer term. It's just that the degenerates that love to only come back into the market when things get super over exuberant and bullish, like we can see here from the tweets data, coinciding directly with the exact top, the Bitcoin Google Trends data here coinciding exactly with the absolute top. It's simple and clear as day to see, ladies and gentlemen, that unfortunately those that did buy the top here, they deserved to get burned, right? You never want to be essentially hypothetically, or rather theoretically, it's not wise to be buying like crazy when the market is overextended and everyone's super over exuberant and bullish. You know how they say it, when your barber or your taxi driver is clamoring about their investment, that's generally not the greatest time to be buying, right? So the better time to be buying, theoretically, again, is more so when no one wants to talk about it, and you see that all of these types of indicators have cooled off. So right now, this, for me, I hope you guys see that right here, right now, we are squeezing into the point where fruition is going to have to become a reality. And for me, that is going to be a heinous debacle of a dump to the downside, or, my friends, a fantastic and spectacular rip to the upside. I don't believe that this little range here is going to last much longer. I believe that we are going to see a boom very hard in either direction. And if you're new to the stream, if you're a degenerate, oh, Kirby, so it can go up or it can go down. Technical analysis is not about predicting the future, my friend. Technical analysis is about identifying the charts and identifying potentially high reward, low risk trade setups upon tentative confirmation. I'm not sitting here going, oh, well, you see, if we calculate the Fibonacci and well, by the year 2027, we should be going to the moon. Clowns, ladies and gentlemen, degenerates and imbeciles. Don Carbonaccio does not have time for any of that moon boy garbaggio. What I have time for is to look for places in the trend that I can look for those high reward, low risk trade setups to crush the market and get this crypto. And my friends, I hope you see it right here, right now. There may be a heinous amount of potentially life-changing trading opportunity looming here in the shadows right around the corner. And I am looking to play this aggressively and strike like a cobra out of the grass and get this crypto. And I will be keeping you updated in VIP exactly when I take my trades in real time to the absolute second. I'll also be posting for you my strategies that I formulate of when exactly I'm looking to enter, exit, where I'm placing my stop losses, and where I'm taking my profit. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're not already, I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Shout out to all my VIPs. You guys know I kept you updated here with my last trade here. Another type of in and out trade. Opened it several days ago, took a short, closed for nice profits, and right now I'm moving on to my next trade. So if you do in fact want to be updated with my next trade in real time as I look to crush the market and get this crypto, well then my friends, I will see you all in VIP right now. Shout out to all of my new future VIPs joining VIP right now after this video. I will see you in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. So my friends, gear up. I believe we are right at the point where fruition is going to have to be made here. And the question I have to ask is, are you going to be the one that gets caught like a deer in the headlights and takes that trip to Wrecked City with Average Joe and James at the water cooler? Or is today the day that you transform yourself from Average Joe into Savage Joe and crush this market? The choice is yours. That being said, I will see you in VIP right now as I gear up to take my next trade, strategize my next entry, and crush this market like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can. Let's get this crypto. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could one last time, moon up the likes, moon them up, smash those thumbs, click the subscribe button, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take a new position, and I'm ready to get this crypto. So guys, I will see you in VIP right now. And until next time, my friends, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.